I set out to become the ultimate Jiu-Jitsu black belt. After getting laid out by the YouTube famous black belt named Tyler Spangler, we make our way to Next Edge Academy in South Dakota. In order to take on the black belt, I have to make my way through a variety of tough opponents. The first one is a wrestler turned white belt named Z. Z begins by a trick by sitting to guard, but he quickly switches his base and tries to wrestle up for an early takedown. I catch him in a guillotine on his way up, but because of my mediocre sprawl, there wasn't enough weight on his head to keep it locked up. Now in his territory, I have to play cautiously. I decide to test myself and shoot a low single leg, but I get caught in a guillotine myself. If you notice, I'm staying calm, preparing to react to his next move, while also monitoring his hips. I want to create distance between the choke and his hips to nullify his power. I'll end up quickly sitting to guard to gain a small amount of space in the choke, and that allows me to shrug off his arms. Now in guard, notice how I'm not allowing Z to win head position. As he stands higher, he gives me access to shin to shin. I'll try to elevate Z, but after not doing leg day for the last 2 years, I get stuffed back down pretty easily. To continue my attack, I relieve weight for a second by pushing on his armpit. I then capitalize on that space created by putting him into single leg X. He'll remove my foot from his hip just about as easily as my X removed me from her contacts, and I counter by weaving it under his hips in a modified single leg X. We don't stay here for too long as Z takes a page out of Dirty Dancing and launches himself out of the guard, putting him into close guard. I'm not a big fan of spending the next 4 minutes in close guard, so I open and Z attempts a quick leg drag, but I swing my left leg back around to meet him at the front and deny him entry into side control. He continues to press forward on my right side, but I flop away, like literally flop away, allowing me to prevent the pass. I curl myself up into a ball of blue belt sweat and lanky limbs and start grabbing onto whatever I can see. I notice Z has an arm posted on the ground right next to my head, so I wrap up on a shoulder crunch and look to attack that arm. I'll use my left foot to square back up, and then I'll spin my hips over to attack your day one basic armbar. Z doesn't look too amused after he stacks me on my neck and wards me off of the armbar. I try countering with a triangle, but he shrugs my attack off and drops his weight onto my head in turtle. I'll try to weave in an underhook, but Z starts locking onto a body lock, so I'm forced to move back to turtle as to not get pinned to the ground. I still end up getting pinned and sat on as he throws his leg over in a mount. The gift wrap he has is dangerous, so before he has a chance to get the other arm into the mix, I give him mount, which solves the problem of the gift wrap, but creates a myriad of others. He then starts attacking a triangle, and I will be damned if I get submitted by a triangle. If I stay stagnant, I know it's game over. I oil check him with my elbow and find my way out. Z doesn't let my misery end as he follows me to turtle and begins attacking an anaconda choke. I roll on my back to connect my knee to his hip, and then I'll use that to press him off. That unfortunately wasn't enough to fend him away, and Z attacks with another leg drag, forcing me to invert, but he catches me upside down and decides to make me regret my decision by sitting on me, stuffing my kneecaps down my throat. I came out of the shadow realm with a grudge, grabbing his hand and throwing up a quick triangle. While Z blocked it with his forearm, he made a crucial mistake that costed him everything. He tries to muscle through the triangle by tossing my legs over, but because I controlled his wrist and stuffed it back into the pocket of my hip, I was able to stabilize myself just enough to lock onto a tight triangle and begin to sink into submission. With my legs now completely locked onto his head and arm, there's no escape anymore, and the only option he's left with is to tap. Now Z isn't going to let me walk away from this round without a highlight of his own, so as we start back up standing, he attacks with an insane duck under, latching onto a single leg. As I defend that, he switches to a tight waist around my back and hits a trip, plummeting me to the ground. He immediately sits to my back, but misses his bottom hook, allowing me to inch my hips out just enough to avoid it. He'll then move to mount, but I catch him with his hips high and slide out of the back door. Z will swing his leg over and attempt to walk into side control, but I catch him extended and wrap him up into an armbar. With only a few seconds left in the round, it's now or never. Z pours on heavy pressure and all I have to do is survive until the clock runs out. I'm not one to stall, and as he presses forward and falls atop my legs, he falls victim to one of my sneakiest moves, the inverted triangle. Unfortunately, after many uses of the bell escape, it comes back to bite me, and the timer runs out, allowing Z to escape the grips of my triangle choke. Z only being a white belt and mopping me up like that should tell you something about the upcoming matches. Either I'm seriously trash, or the level of this gym is a lot higher. If you want to find out, make sure to stay tuned as we take on a wrestler turned purple belt leg locker in the next video. Also, if you're a fan of cool looking, good feeling jiu-jitsu gear, head to the description to find a link on how you can upgrade your BJJ closet for free from my sponsor YJJS brand.